Another thing that you can do in 3D is create environment layers. And what I'm going to do to create an environment layer is go to Animation, Browse Presets, and that's going to open up Adobe Bridge where I can choose one of my background presets to be environment map for my text. Now I'm going to choose something like this, Sweeping Curves. And when I apply that, it creates a solid layer with the Sweeping Curves preset applied to it, which is quite a nice background to use for your environment map. Now if I go to Layer and choose Environment Layer, it becomes an environment layer, and I can't see any result of that until I go to Adaptive Resolution. And we're just going to drop down to half resolution in order to see that playback quickly. I'm on a Mac here that doesn't have a supported card, so I need to kind of work around that. And you can see that the map is now reflected onto the edge of the layers. If I turn the map off, you'll notice it's not reflected onto the layers. If I turn it on, it is. Now let's stop it being an environment layer. Let's go back to Layer, Environment Layer, and turn that off. Again, it takes a couple of seconds to render. And you'll notice it now just becomes a standard layer. So when you create an environment layer, it does a couple of things. If we go to Custom View 1, if we go to Layer, Environment Layer again, it uses the layer for the entire environment. It's kind of like wrapping it around the environment. And if we open up our options, we have some options in there about whether it appears in reflections or not, and we have some orientation settings for it as well. These are the effects that are applied to it, so I can also go into the effects and edit those. So there are a few options for environment layers, but you'll notice how it really adds something to the edge of the text with an environment layer reflecting on the edges like that. So if you want to see that at best quality, you really want to go to Final Quality, and we can just maybe add a region of interest to that so that we can see a small section render in best quality. So we'll go to Full Resolution and Final Quality, and you can see there we've got a nice shiny edge to our text with some of that environment wrapping around the outside of it. It's also great for creating things like chrome effects. If you have a really strong black and white environment map, using something like fractal noise to create it, it can create some really nice environmental reflections on your text or other 3D objects.